It's welcome to Legal Learning. So today I'm going to discuss about this Unit 1, Nature and Scope of Constitutional Law and various types of constitution. So it's about constitutional law. Okay, let me read the question first of all. The question was asked in 2013 and 2014. What do you mean by or understand by the term constitution and constitutional law? So here we need to focus on two terms. One is constitution, another is constitutional law. Mention briefly about the characteristics of a written constitution. As we know that our Indian constitution is written, right? World's lengthiest constitution. These are some of the salient features. So then we need to go through characteristics of a written constitution and also the characteristics of an unwritten constitution. Okay, so this is our question. Okay, so basically first of all asking about definition of constitution. What do you mean by constitution? Second, constitutional law. Third, characteristics of both written and unwritten constitution. So let's begin. Wait, and also this question is asking about the nature as well as the scope of the constitutional law. So many things. Okay, so okay, let's begin. So first of all, let's go through the introduction. This is a note. Okay, so applied to the system of law and government by which the affairs of the modern state are administered. The world constitution has two meanings. So let's focus on this word, constitution. We have constitution, right? Divided into 22 parts, originally 395 articles. A lot of things are there. 105 amendments till now in our constitution. So first of all, that term constitution has two meanings. One is narrower meaning, another is wider meaning. So first of all, we're gonna focus on the narrower meaning. Okay, in this sense, constitution means a document. So first of all, it is a document. Okay, so we read in Indian Evidence Act the definition of document. It is not exactly like definition provided under statute, but it is a general thing like document having a special legal sanctity, sanction, what we call like kind of sanction, which sets out the framework and principal functions of the organs of the government. So we have three organs of the government: judiciary, legislative and executive, right? So judiciary, legislative and executive. So there's something, a concept called separation of powers. As we know, our judiciary is the guardian of the constitution, and here we have judicial review, independence of judiciary and supremacy of the constitution. We have of course parliamentary system, but we do not have parliamentary sovereignty. Here our constitution is supreme, not the legislative bodies or the parliament. Okay, this is very important thing to know. So this is what the definition of constitution is. Principal functions. So what are the functions of judiciary, legislative and the executive? As if you look at our constitution itself, there are union judiciary, state judiciary, union executive, state executive, union legislature, that is parliament, composed of two houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and also state legislature, which may contain which has legislative assembly, and in some of the states we have bicameral legislature, that is legislative assembly as well as legislative council. Done. So yeah, and declares the principle by which those organs must operate, and the principles are also there. We have in part 3 fundamental rights, in part 1 territory, part 2 citizenship, part 3 fundamental rights, part 4 the DPSP, part 4A fundamental duties, and then the rest of the part deals with as I already told, judiciary, executive, legislature, union and state, both union and state level, because you have a federal structure of government. There two government are there, central government as well as state government, and this is what called federal structure. But the Indian Federation is different from the Federation of USA, right? We have read this definition in our J.N. Pandey book. This definition is straight away, we can find this narrower meaning in J.N. Pandey book. Okay, J.N. Pandey book. So this definition is very easy, like, but the word constitution has a wider meaning also. So narrow meaning we find this is what it is called. So what is the wider meaning? As Bolingbroke stated in so we have to point out this person named Bolingbroke. Okay, Bolingbroke, Boling. Done. Stated in 1733. This is the year. So by the constitution is mean that the assemblies of laws, institutions and customs derived from certain fixed principles of reason. Okay, so what does it mean? That the assemblage of laws, okay, laws, institutions and customs derived from certain fixed principle of reason that composes the general system according to which the community had agreed to be governed. So we have sovereignty, right? But in our preamble, what do we find? We the people of India. We find a what? We the people of India. So this is what called community. We have decided, we have given ourselves this constitution, right? So we agreed to be governed by our constitution. So this is what given in our own constitution. We decided it, and there are some principles and principles of reason, like we have some basic structures like democracy, sovereignty, socialist, secularism, then justice, social, economic and political, then liberty of thought, belief, faith and worship, and fraternity and dignity of the individual. These all things are there in our constitution, right? So we agreed to be abide by it. So we have given ourselves the constitution. Okay, I'm going to fast, right? Or in modern worlds, constitution in its wider sense refers to the whole system of government of a country, the collection of rules which establish and regulate or govern the government. Okay, it is a kind of rules, collection of rules, and in our case the collection of rules are written. Okay, we have written rules in our case only, obviously, which establish and regulate or govern the government, which is for the purpose of governing the government. Done. The wider sense of the word constitution includes a constitution in the narrower sense, as illustrated by the celebrated American jurist Oliver Wendell Holmes. Okay, we need to point it. American jurist Oliver Wendell Holmes. The Constitution is not a document of fastidious dialectics, but means of ordinary the life of people. It is an organic growth. It is a life of people, organic growth. Because in our preamble we find the aspirations, the sources of our constitution, and also the dreams and aspirations of the people, right? So it is for the life of people. What is the need for a constitution? Now, why we need a constitution even? Okay. On the peaceful transfer of power by the British government to the Indian people under the Indian Independence Act 1947. You know the basic history, right? Indian Independence Act 1947. We got independence through this legislation. And another act is there, Government of India Act 1935. Much of our sources of Indian Constitution has been derived from the Government of India Act 1935. And we got independence through this act, Indian Independence Act 1947. The Indian people who wanted to make a new and determined start structured a constitution and gave it into themselves. As I have already told you, we gave the constitution to ourselves. That thing we find in our preamble itself, that we gave our constitution to ourselves. The first 4 words of the preamble: we the people of India, having solemnly reformed to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, right? So the preamble itself says that we have given ourselves this constitution, and it is so secular, sovereign, secular, socialistic, democratic republic, and we have justice, equality, fraternity, and integrity and unity as well. Every country has aspirations which are particular and personal to its people. So these are aspirations, as I told you. Whatever given is, whatever there is given in our preamble. A distinctive tradition and culture. We have a distinctive tradition and culture, right? So, for example, our model of secularism.